Thank you for being here. Thank you for serving your country for the fourth time. I appreciate that. Look forward to having you confirmed. Taking off from my colleagues, we're talking about innovation, something that's near and dear to my heart. I recently introduced a very bipartisan bill called the Deploying American Blockchain Act, passed this committee pretty unanimously, which is good to see. And I just want to make certain that you're committed to implementing that properly when it gets passed by both chambers, to really look at what America can do to take that next step in being the center for the evolution of blockchain technology.
So I haven't read your bill, Senator, but certainly support American leadership in blockchain.
All right. And shifting gears, you're somebody who's run pretty complex organizations. There's not a lot of people who've had that in their background. So look forward to having you help the Secretary Lutnick run commerce. Is it fair to say, in your experience, in the government and in the private sector, running complex organizations, does more money always equal better results?
No, Senator.
Sometimes the opposite, right? But that's something that I think most people who haven't run organizations would feel that that's an odd paradigm, right? Because typically the idea is more people, more money. You have a problem, throw money at it, throw people at it. Can you talk about what you've seen in your experience, why that's a fallacy?
So a lot of times money can be spent on things that are not needed, I think is a good way of putting it. So I'll give you an example. When I was Undersecretary for Science, we had just won, we were just winning when I showed up, the Nobel Prize for the lithium-ion chemistry. But the department was still spending money on lithium-ion battery discovery science, not scaling, not manufacturing, but discovery science. And so we were spending something that we won the Nobel Prize on, and I think we could say that was a declaration of victory for discovery science. And so that was not a really great place to kind of keep on spending money into something that we already had victory on. So we refocused the money on the future. And so I think that's an example of the right way to think about where the taxpayer money should be looking at.
So as we talk about cuts and assessments of different programs, it's absolutely something that's essential, right? To see where is the money most efficiently and setting up better processes, better systems, and taking advantage of technology is a much better way to go than just randomly throwing a bunch of money into a problem.
Absolutely, and I'm going to be mildly dangerous and bring up Hanford with Senator Cantwell. There was a lot of money spent for a very long period of time, and a lot of different directions have been, I'm almost paraphrasing the senator from many years ago, heading in different directions that were not accomplishing very much. And when the senator looked at me and Secretary Brouillette 8 years ago and said, can you say that we're going to focus on the things that work rather than things that are not working, not pivot back and forth and get things done? And one of the proudest things that I think the two of us and others did was last couple of days of the previous administration was to call up the senator and say that we had completed construction.
That's great. Shifting gears again, 25 years ago, so we're in a 25th year anniversary of what I think is the most toxic, most outrageously terrible bill in the history of the United States of America, which is the U.S. China Normalization Act. The GDP of China at that point in time, 25 years ago, was $1.2 trillion. It's projected to be $20 trillion next year. Who won and who lost?
The accession of China to the WTO and the normalization was very, very poor to the U.S. economy, and in particular to the manufacturing workers. That about 5 million people lost their jobs. And given the velocity of money in the communities, that you can multiply that by 5 or 6. So we lost about 25 to 30 million jobs in this country as a result of, to a large degree, of that topic.
What kind of jobs?
Well, certainly the manufacturing jobs were the 5 million that had dropped.
These are jobs that are family-sustaining wages, where you could live, provide for a family, retire with dignity.
Yeah, dignity and middle-class jobs is what was lost because of that.
And what would happen in your mind if we just ignored it? If we just said, look, if we could make cheap goods some other country and bring them into the United States, where would we be in 10 years?
I think the trends that we're seeing around fentanyl, trends that we're seeing on small town America, that really accelerated over the last 20 years because of that collapse of manufacturing and related jobs. I think you'll see that continue, and I think all of us, don't want to see that continue.
Well, thank you. And recognize